First, she appeared in more than 50 scripted films and TV shows following her first big role as Tia in the first Witch Mountains movie. And she was introduced to a whole new audience on the reality show The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Say hello to Kim Richards.
Hi, everybody.
Don't you worry, we get to talk about all of those.
I'm just saying, I think you might have missed
I had to keep your bio down to under 2 minutes. There's so much other stuff.
Sorry, guys.
And he's been in more than 60 films and TV shows, following up on the Witch Mountain movies with a stint on the magical world of Disney. And as Preston in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. A lot of our sci-fi fans will remember that. He also hit the TV circuit with guest appearances on shows like The Jeffersons, Wonder Woman, 8 is Enough, Little House on the Prairie as well. He's gone on to a second career in post-production and digital animation. Say hello to Ike Eisenmann.
Hello. Hey, everybody out there. Thanks for being with us.
Well, Ike and Kim reunited once again here. We appreciate you being with us. Guys, tell us first, how much fun was it to be a teenager and be in these films?
Well, we weren't teenagers at
Almost
first.
Teenagers, yeah.
We were children. We were kids. I was 10. And Ike was a little bit older, not too much, Ike.
No, only about a year and a half. We really were kids.
We were children, and it was always fun. You know, first of all, working for Disney was amazing. It was like a family, and working with the crew. First of all, it was like a family for me. I honestly can tell you, Frank, the cameraman, LaRue, the hairdresser. I mean, it became a real family. I was actually put under contract to Disney, and I was the only one put under contract to Disney as a child since Haley Mills when she was 10. So actually, it became a real family for me. And working with Ike, it just became, I don't know if you know this, but Ike and I started getting cast as brother and sister outside of Disney stuff. Hound of Hell, we became brother and sister. I know.
Yeah, when we were teenagers, they cast us both as brother and sister, and the producers had no idea that we had done the Witch Mountain films together, which I found absolutely hilarious. So it was inevitable, I think, for the two of us, because we look so much alike, especially as kids, that we would be cast as brother and sister. But I have to say, my experiences at Disney as a child actor were overwhelmingly fun and incredible. And it had been a dream of mine, actually, when I first started in the business, to work for Disney. It was something that I was dying to do. And so I ended up getting the opportunity to co-star in Witch Mountain. It was just, it was overwhelming to me. And yeah, Kim and I had a blast. I mean, we it's so funny because we worked together so well that it was just seamless. I mean, from the day of the screen test to our first day on set, we just fell right into place and started having a great time. And yes, like Kim says, working for Disney is like working for a family. Because I also was put under contract with Disney for 3 years, which is why I did the subsequent roles I did about a couple weeks into shooting, which was even icing on the cake for me. So getting to know that I was going to get to work on more Disney projects was absolutely just so exciting for me.
I think when you see how Ike and I interreacted, just our connection as children on the show during filming, you could see it was a genuine, almost brother and sister connection, I think, which made it, I'm not going to say easy because it's never easy working with kids, but I have to say it was kind of easy working with us. I know John Huff, our director, John Huff, who is an amazing director on Escape Witch Mountain. He was the most patient. He was firm, but he was patient. And he would take us each aside at different time. And because it's hard, kids get distracted. There was a scene we worked in an orphanage, and there were tons of kids, and kids want to play, and I wanted to play a little. I mean, there's tons of kids, and when you're working up north and you're away from your family, and it's just Ike and I most of the time, and then there's all these kids, and there were times he had to take us aside, or take me aside at least, and okay, focus right now. And he would say things to me, and he would remind me that this is what we're doing here. And I can remember there's even a picture of John Huff talking to me. And I actually, as I look at the photograph, I remember him saying to me, "You just focus, you know what we're doing here." And looking at Ike, because Ike was throwing the ball with, I forget the kid's name. He was so amazing. The redheaded kid, so amazing, talented. Lance Kerwin was there, Lance Kerwin, I later ended up doing James at 15, 16, 17 with. When you look at these certain moments, and they're so memorable to me. I remember there was also the scene where they're coming to get us in the limo, and they had Ike and I sitting at the side of a chain link fence, and Ike and I actually got distracted playing with these little, we found leaves, and we were actually blowing. I don't know if you remember this, Ike, but we were trying to, when you spread the leaves apart and you blow and you make a little whistle sound.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was showing you how to do that, and we were playing around just on our own. And John ended up running the camera on us, and we didn't even know it. That little scene in there is actually, he ended up using it, which I thought was used it
because they were
really fun.
They were setting up the cameras, waiting for Donald Pleasance to come and get these alien magic kids, because he realized we had powers. And it was after he saw, we saved him at the movie theater in the car getting crashed, and he realized these kids have something. And Ray Milland says, "Go get the kids." And so Ike and I are sitting there at the orphanage, and they're like, getting ready to film a scene, and Ike and I were sitting against this chain link fence, and you spread these little the leaves apart, and it makes noise, and Ike was like, "I'll show you how to do it." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so we're sitting there, and they ended up filming us, and they ended up using it. It was so organic because we clicked. He was like my brother. I was like his sister, and he's showing his little sister how to do it, and they used it, and it was beautiful. It's a great scene.
Yeah, you remain to this day my fictional sister. I've always called you that.
And I love you like a brother. I always have.
So we have folks from Israel, France, Brooklyn, Texas, North Carolina, Seattle, Virginia, lots of other places who've checked in. We also have Sherry Clausen from Clackamas, Oregon. She just wanted to say she grew up with these movies and just thanking you for being part of her childhood. And I know that there's tons of the rest of us who feel the same way. So thank you guys. Aaron Ogawa was just asking if there's any favorite memories from the series. And you've brought a couple of those up, which is great. So thank you, Aaron, for that question. Benny, TB86 has a question, and I was going to get to this, but since Benny asked first, maybe we'll start with this and we'll go to a couple other ones. He wants to know what it was like working with Bette Davis and Christopher Lee. And then we're going to talk about some of the other superstars that were in this with you, but start with Bette and Christopher.
I absolutely, because I got to spend more time with Bette and Christopher actually than Kim did, because we were almost shooting two separate movies. Our storylines split very early on, and she was hanging out, Tia was hanging out with the Earthquake Gang, and I had been I had been kidnapped and drugged and put on remote control by Christopher Lee. It was intimidating at first when Bette Davis was coming onto the set, because everyone was absolutely scared to death of her, because she had such a reputation for being difficult and demanding. And it really was kind of funny to me, because even by then, both Kim and I had worked with so many different people that we were nonplussed by it. But even I started to get a little bit concerned because of all the talk that was going on. And she came onto the set and within a matter of minutes put me at ease, because she was so funny. She had such a great sense of humor, and she and Christopher Lee used to just muck it up all the time. John Huff, the three of them were telling jokes, all old, movie stories that I wish I could have remembered, but being around all of that was absolutely incredible. And Christopher Lee is probably, he's just as daunting in person, although he's an incredibly sweet man. But man, a dry, very sharp wit, and I felt really privileged to just spend any time with them, let alone work with them. So I really had a wonderful time with both of them.
And for me, I really didn't know who Bette Davis was. I was a little bit more naive. And when Bette, it's just, I wasn't really aware of the status of Bette Davis, and being that I had already been on set. I'd done these short stories for Disney, you know, Mystery of the Rustler's Cave, The Big Year Cat, the Year of the Big Cat. So I've been doing Disney stuff for quite a while. So I had developed a very comfort zone with Disney, and I No Deposit, No Return. I did just so many little things, you know, prior, that a lot of Darren McGavin, Don Knotts, David Niven, like all these people. So I had a very comfort zone with these legends, but I really didn't realize they were legends, you know? So when Betty Davis got there, I saw, you know, my thing was welcome to the set. So when I saw her name on the dressing room, it was just my thing. I walked up, knocked on her dressing room door. I said, hello, I just want to say I'm Kim Richards, and I just want to welcome you to the set. And if you need anything, or if you need help with your dialogue, or you want to run any lines, please let me know. I just remember seeing my mother, and like, she basically said, like, who is this child? Who is the mother? Where is this child? And I didn't still get it. And my mom said, she's mine. She's mine. And she said, she gave me a hug, and she said, thank you so much for welcoming me. And if I need anything, I will definitely let you know. And like I said, there was a very warm nature to her, and I still had no idea, like, she was a legend. So my relationship was a little different. And like I said, they were on one and we were on the other. So our time working with her was different. And I did see that she had a wig. And so I was like, hey, come on. That's a wig, right? And she was like, seriously, there goes that kid again. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with this child? And I said, really, what color's your hair? What color's your hair? And she said, I'll tell you what. And some of the other kids were like, she said, if you can figure out what color my hair is, there'll be a gift for you. And I was like, are you serious? So no idea. I started sneaking into her dressing room, of all the nerve. I mean, like, now that I look back, how rude. So she would come in and get dressed and take off her. And I one day slipped in under her sofa, and she took off her wig. And I jumped out. I'm surprised I didn't just scare the living. And she was like, I said, got it. I know, I got it. I don't want to tell you, but like,
anyone can have Betty Davis stories. No one's going to have that Betty Davis story. You're the only one who's ever going to have that Betty Davis story. That's incredible.
And you know what she did? Because some of the other kids, I told them, so they were all trying to figure it out. And so since I figured out, she wrote me, and I still have it. She wrote me this beautiful letter. Only you had the nerve, basically. And so she gave me a beautiful watch and a letter that said, you earned it. You earned it. You got it. But so I snuck into her dressing room quite a few times, but it's just the one time that so yeah. And then she also told me when she was, when we were wrapping, she said to me, she got up on an apple box because she was tiny little lady. And she said, thank you. Pineapple bought the coffee. He used to bring, there was a man named Pineapple that used to bring the coffee and the donuts. And Frank was the cameraman, and LaRue was the hairdresser. And I won't go through all the names, but she got up and she said, come. And so I stood next to her, and she said, like, one of these. And I said, and she said, thank you, Pineapple, for my coffee, because without my coffee, I'm not good in the morning. And thank you, Frank, for the camera, because without that, I don't look great. And she thanked the lighting man, and she thanked LaRue for her hair, and she thanked every single person. And when she got down, she said, do you understand? And I said, I do. And she said, we are nothing without everyone. It takes all of us, because without my lighting, I don't look pretty. And without my coffee, I'm not good in the morning. And I learned that from her. And I was so grateful And I've always been that way moving forward. There's not a day that I don't leave a shoot and say, no matter how tired I am, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your help. Gosh, thank you. Thank you. And it was something that I took from Betty that she taught to me. And what an honor, what a grateful. I've worked with some of the best, some of the legends, and it's stuff that I took from them. Betty taught me that specifically. And
Right.
Christopher, of course, what an amazing man. I did not have the experience that I had. I did get to spend time with him. Looked so stern and tall, but what a kind man. And but I had a closer relationship with Betty that I got to, develop. So
And I we'll get back to some of the other stars too, because there were so many, and Jack Sue and Eddie Albert. But I do need to, for myself and for fans who I know are interested, I do need to ask you about Ray Milland, because Ray Milland, that's Hollywood classic. Also, what Ike and Kim, Ike start with. What was your interaction with him, and did you know like his stature in the business before he got on set?
I was very aware of him because I watched a lot of television, and his older films were on all the time. So he for me was kind of like he was my first major movie star that I met, and he really was like studio royalty. He had this air about him that was like a movie star. He smoked a cigarette like a movie star, even when he was on a break, and he walked, and he was extremely tall. So Kim and I were like these tiny little munchkins next to him, but he was very austere, extremely professional, and incredibly gracious, and was complimentary of both Kim and I and our work on the set, which I thought was incredible. And I didn't find it intimidating, even though I knew who he was. It was just very interesting to be around, these very, a powerful performer like him, and have him treat both Kim and I like equals. I mean, we're all professionals on set. That was the thing I found out. I realized about all of these stars that I worked with, and I was very grateful for. They never treated me like a child. I was always treated like another one of the adults, and that meant a great deal to me. So yeah, he was, and again, there's only a certain amount of time when we're on set, we actually get to spend with these people. Working on Return from Witch Mountain, we had more time because, when you're a child actor in California, you have to do 3 hours of school on set every day, including the 4 or 5 hours of work you're putting in front of the camera. So pretty much the moment, if there's 10 or 15 minutes when you have a break, Kim and I had to go back to school, and Irene Burke was our teacher on Escaped Witch Mountain, who was an amazing woman, but we had to go back to school. So it's not like we got to, oops, my computer just went to sleep. Hey, wake up.
We see you.
Oh, okay, good. Awesome. Well, I couldn't see anything else. So here we are. Anyway, it limited our time with these people. So primarily, we would be working with them, and it was just a joyous experience. It really was. He was incredible.
So for me, Ray Milland, as you see him, as if you look at the scene, get me those kids, bring me those kids, right? And then you'd see like afterwards, and I remember the chairs sitting outside the big castle, and or even like on the side, like different places. His stature was tall. I did not know who Ray Milland was. I didn't get to watch a lot of TV. I grew up, like Cincinnati. I worked a lot. In my days, I didn't have a lot of days to watch TV. So I didn't really know who anybody was. And my mom never really, I think she always tried to keep me, she just never let me know a lot. So I think she didn't want to fill my head with any kind of intimidation, or just, I always had to have respect for all adults. So I didn't know who he was, but you could definitely tell he was a man of power, and so, but I always had respect for all adults. But he never showed anything, but even outside, you're like the ice cream, we have an ice cream. But yet he was so warm and fuzzy for me. To me, he just had a warmth about him. And I wouldn't say he treated me like an adult. I don't know. I guess that's Ike's take on that. I did not feel like he treated me like an adult. I felt like he treated me almost like a daughter, just very loving and very respectful. And I felt like he treated us as, yes, he's the legend. He's the powerhouse there. But there was an equal feeling as far as we're all there together. Another kind of Betty Davis kind of feeling, like we were all in this together. And yes, he's Rainbow Land. Donald Pleasance, the same. He actually brought up when we worked up Big North and up in Big Sur, and he brought his wife and his kids. And another one, he looked so, my goodness, get those kids. And yet he came with his wife and his kids. And off camera, he's sitting there like, have a seat on my lap. Super lovey-dovey, great guy. My dad and my sisters came up on occasions because my mom was there, but my dad and my sisters were able to come a few times. And it's just something so warm and cozy about him too. But they come off as, well, that's their job, but what they perceive, and yes, they are legends, and I feel so fortunate. But the way they treated me personally, I felt like an uncle. As my uncle, they were very kind and very warm. And I remember sitting at the table and they pounded their hands, and I was like, "No, I'm not scared of you."
Those are great memories from both of you. I want to remind everyone, whether you're watching on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube, we've got great chats going in all three. So go ahead and contribute to those chats. Also, go to wizardworldvirtual.com. Your opportunity between now and next week. Next Friday, we'll be doing the live video chats with each of these folks. So if you want a little bit more, we love bringing you the free Q&A, but if you want a little bit chance to learn a little bit more of these stories, if some of this is piquing your interest and want to learn, you can get that from Ike, and you can do that next week. And you can go to Wizard World Virtual for that. Also, autographs, recorded video messages, those are both available. I want to give you a sense of what some of the folks are talking about in the chat rooms. Disney Angel 95 says, "Hi, Ike and Kim, so excited." And her question is, have you ever watched another Disney movie and spotted props or pieces from the Witch Mountain movies in those films?
Other movies?
Like other Disney movies. Have you ever seen another prop or something that you remembered from your film?
I've never seen another Starbucks. Have you?
No, no, I never have. I'm wondering. I would assume because their prop department was huge and in-house, and they used different, the same pieces for different films. I would imagine that has happened, but I've not seen anything noticed anything necessarily from Witch Mountain being used in something else. But I'd love to know if somebody else has. That'd be a great thing to learn about.
Who wants our windbreakers?
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. And what a nightmare those windbreakers were. I got to tell you, especially back in the 70s, those things were noisy as heck. And we had to wear radio mics under our clothing because we did so many exteriors and running around and, delivering dialogue. And it was constantly rubbing onto the mics and making it sound like sandpaper over everything. So, and they weren't nearly warm enough, were they? Because it was cold, especially on a Big Sur. Boy, it was really cold.
I will tell you, I had a cat named Winky.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I did not know that. Yeah, Winky was a blast.
Yeah, talk about working with the animals. I mean, you worked with the bear, which we saw.
Bruno was
tell me about working with the animals.
I thought Bruno was mine. I thought he was mine. I was like, "Get back! This is my bear." There
he is.
Yeah.
I
used to wash him on the weekends, give him baths. How did you feel about working with the bear?
Well, he was extraordinary to me because you would think you'd be a little scared or intimidated having to work right alongside something as massive as that, and of course potentially dangerous. But Bruno actually played Gentle Ben in the series from the 50s, 60s. And so he was an old studio bear, very professional. And actually in that shot that you just showed behind you a second ago, that was a kind of a semi-complicated little move we were doing where Kim and I were going along and I was trying to convince her to send the bear away. And Bruno was supposed to walk up to us and stop between us. And, you know, then Tia talks to the bear and sends him off. But every single take, Bruno kept coming up and walking right between us and heading straight towards camera and not listening to his handlers. And it was really, you know, kind of funny and odd, and we couldn't figure out how to deal with it. And on the last take, the take they ended up using in the film, Bruno comes up, and you will see me in the film actually do this. He starts to keep moving up, and I just put my hand right on him, and I start petting him, and I literally pushed him, and he stopped at his mark, thankfully. And then we got to complete the take, and it was the only one that we could use because he just suddenly decided he didn't really want to cooperate. You know, so sometimes that happens. Animals are, they say, you know, W.C. Fields said, never work with animals or kids because they're either one is not doing its job or the other's upstaging the other or something like that. And often that's, you know, going on. Winky, there were several Winkies. There was a Winky that winked that they had trained to wink, and then there was Winky, one Winky I worked with. I was kind of
jumping
working
on the horse on Thunderbird.
Yeah, jumping on. Yeah, yeah. I had to rehearse for quite a bit, getting him to jump to me, and we'd gotten it down pat, and then all of a sudden the scene introduced the horse, and Kim and I are on the horse, and suddenly Winky was not happy about that. Yeah. But Winky jumped to me, and because the horse was there, he was freaked out and just dug his claws into me as deep as he could, hanging on. And it was just, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So the dogs, that was a whole nother.
What?
Yeah, the dogs was a whole nother thing. I mean, you talk about just a wild group and they were completely playful. They were just having nothing but fun. There was nothing scary or intimidating about them at all.
Except having them chase you up the hill. You watch my face. They're like, kids.
Oh, I know you were scared. I remember you were scared. I remember you were scared.
Yeah, they're like dogs. There's like 3 actions. Action 1. Action A. Action B. Action C. Kids go. And you watch me and I'm like, oh, never been so freaking scared in my life. And Ike's like, it's okay, I'm holding on. I said, no, they're chasing. I'm so scared. I had a problem doing You're the Big Cat with the cougar. So that was an issue. But working with Bruno, I remember being up in Big Sur, and it was like on the weekends, the trainers liked, I don't know at times what you did, but like I like to go down and play with the bear and feed the bear. And there was a little crowd developing, and my mom was sleeping. So I was like, you know, Mom, I'm going to go down and wash the bear, give the bear a bath. And she was like, okay, honey, okay. So I go down and, you know, she's sleeping, and all of a sudden she said, I love when my mom would say this, she's, wash the bear, wash the bear, wash the bear. And so my mom like jumps out of bed and she runs down, and I literally was with the 2 of the trainers, and I was washing the bear, and he was very calm. I was giving him the bath. Bruno was happy. But as the more people came around, which they try to keep the crowd away because the bear does get excited, he started to like do one of these, like, oh, oh. And I was like, oh yeah. And like, Bruno, put her down. And he was getting so excited. And pretty soon he was like, oh, oh. And I was getting a little nervous, and they kept saying, Bruno, put her down. And I was getting a little nervous because I was only 10 and I was becoming like the rag doll, like the little, and he was doing this, and they kept saying, Bruno, down, Bruno, down. And by the time, and he was just like I said, they are wild animals. And even though we had been working with them, and by the time he put me down, and I was never afraid of Bruno because like he's very docile, I was a little nervous because he was a little excited, and I was literally like, was doing one of these, and by the time he put me down, I looked at the crowd and I go, he always does this. He didn't always do it. I was a little scared. But so they do get a little excited. And, you know, if you overstimulate them, and that's why they try to keep them not stimulated, they try to keep them calm. But my mother just about had a heart attack when she realized I was down washing the bear. And you know, my mother's energy is probably why he started tossing me like a rag doll. But I just got back from Aspen, and my daughter said she had ran into a bear with her dog and her boyfriend. And I said, oh my God, how exciting. And she was, Mom, I saw a bear. And I go, that's so exciting. And she's, no, it's not a Disney bear, Mom. It was a real freaking bear in the woods. And I was like, oh my God, what did you do? I said, you're supposed to do this. She goes, I ran. So I one of the things about working for Disney is working with all the animals. To me, you know, I got to work with in Mystery of the Wrestler's Cave. I worked with all these horses, and Ricky was mine. And it's just a thrill to be working with Disney. And it's always been great working with Ike and our memories, you know. And I never imagined I'd be an alien witch. But sometimes I still think I'm magic. I tell my kids, you know what? Don't make me do it. And they're like, oh, Mom, stop. And I said, yeah, I can fly. I am magic. I can make things happen. Like, Mom, you're too old to be playing this game. I go, well, I am. I'm magic. Don't make me do it. So.
That leads into, first of all, a couple of memories from folks. One is from R. Philbrook 666 that says, I fell in love with Ike when I was 5 years old, so much so I was banned from borrowing the Witch Mountain movies from the library because I repeatedly took them out. And Tracy from Pittsburgh, which is funny. So Tracy from Pittsburgh and Joe Rizzo Baseball both want to wish belated happy birthday wishes to you, Kim. Happy birthday. Yesterday.
Thank you.
A couple days ago?
Yes, Saturday.
Happy Saturday birthday to you. Joe also wants to know, and this is related to what you were just saying a second ago, Kim, did your roles, both of you, in the Witch Mountain film shape your belief or not belief about life outside of Earth?
I've always believed it. I always believe there's something else out there. How about you, Ike?
Well, I've always been fascinated by it. I would read books about aliens and UFO sightings and all of that stuff, because it was rather, there was a proliferation of material that you could consume to just, you know, feed these ideas. And, you know, of course I wanted to believe it, and getting to work on a movie where you are actually playing an alien from another planet that has these special powers was just beyond fun. I mean, reading the script for the first time, was extraordinary to me, because I just thought, I love the idea. The idea is fascinating. And even though it's a Disney fantasy, it holds a lot more potential realities to play with in one's mind about what it would be like to have, you know, alien culture among us if they look like us and hit themselves from us. So it's interesting.
Maybe you are one.
It's a lot of fun.
I just don't think there's any mistake, like in the fact that movie was chosen for us. I believe that there is something out there. I think I've always felt something out there. And I'm a very spiritual person. I meditate a lot. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I just feel like, yes, there definitely is something out there. And I've always kind of felt that. And I just don't believe there's any mistakes of how this movie was chosen for myself, and that there's a reason. Just who I am. Some people can think there isn't, and some people can think it's crazy, but I believe there's definitely something out there.
Well, we have a comment from Rebecca Young, who says this movie got her reading sci-fi books as well by Alexander Key, which are all fun. So I think you inspired a whole generation of folks who are interested in sci-fi, and really kind of spurred that. We have a question from Aaron Ogawa. What was it like? I mean, you guys did the original movie, and the original movie was fantastic. But then you guys had cameos in the Race movie years later. What was it like being back into the series in this cameo that you had?
I was so excited that they were doing a remake or a reimagining, as they called it, and I remember getting the phone call from the director, Andy Fickman, asking me if I would like to participate. And I practically screamed into the phone, "Are you kidding? I would love to." And my very next question was, "Is Kim on board?" And he assured me that Kim was. And I thought the cameos they wrote for us were fantastic. Quite often, it seems almost awkward working in characters from original movies when they do remakes. And, we got an opportunity to kind of play a version of ourselves that hinted at who we were. And if you actually hadn't seen the other films, it was okay because our characters were still part of the plot, moving the story forward. So I had a blast. And I know Kim and I both had a very similar experience. When that first day of rehearsals that we came in and met everybody, it was like a fan club, convention. Literally the entire crew was almost fawning over both of us and just talking about how much they loved the original films and how excited they were to have us on this one. And I found it overwhelming, really. I did. I had an absolute blast. It was so wonderful seeing and working with Kim again. And we just stepped right back into our mode, like we hadn't, like no time had gone by. So it was really, really a lot of fun for me.
So I had gotten a phone call a few months prior from somebody that just said, there's just people, there's this guy, John Singleton, and he wants you for a film. And I'm like, John Singleton, I think I know that name. And my sister goes, seriously? Yeah. And I go, I know, I'm trying to think. She's just, oh my God. She starts saying to me, anyway, they want you for this movie. It's with Samuel Jackson, Christina Ricci, Justin Timberlake. And I was like, oh yeah, that's really sweet. But like, I'm retired. I ride horses. I have my kids. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. And so anyway, make long story short, I ended up doing that. But I came up to meet, they said the director was like, you're a big fan, whatever. And I walked into his office. I decided to come up and meet. I said, I'd have to talk to my kids. And I walked into the office and he goes, hold on, Mom. Yeah, she's here. Yeah. I thought it was like, where's Ashton Kutcher? I'm being poked right now. Seriously. He just handed my mom real quick. And I go, yeah. He goes, yeah. So I ended up doing Black Snake Moan. And so I thought, this is really cool. So then I came home and I thought, well, that was fun. And a couple weeks later, I get a phone call and I go, hello. And the guy goes, hey, this is Andy Fickman. And I'm doing a remake of Witch Mountain. I am at Disney Studio. And I go, okay, listen, buddy, I don't know how you got my number, but whatever. And I hang up. And he goes, and he calls back. Wait, don't hang up on me. I swear. Who are you? I don't know you. And how did you get my number? And he goes, I'm telling you, I'm Andy Fickman. I'm doing a Disney movie. I'm making a remake. And I go, mm-hmm. And you actually have an office on the Disney lot? He goes, I swear, yes. And I said, and I really want you to be on board. And I want you, like, please, like, I've been a big fan. Like, I love you. And like, I want you to help me do this. And I want you to do, and do a cameo. And you actually have a lot at Disney in Burbank. And I was so like, I do, I swear. And I said, how'd you get my number? He goes, through your niece, Paris Hilton. And I go, what's the movie called? He goes, well, I don't know yet. He goes, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. We're thinking about him. He's going to do it. And I go, okay. So I ended up going to meet him and I walk in his office. And when I tell you, he had cups with my face and pencils, I was, oh my God. And it was on the Disney lot. So I said, okay, I'm sold. I'm in. He said, so you can help me kind of design this. And it's a cameo. And so I became like really, and Andy had pictures, like everything. I'm like movies of mine. And I love you. He's like, I love you. I'm like, oh my God. So I said, I'll do it. And so that's how I ended up deciding to do Race to Witch Mountain. And I have to say, you know, before we started filming, I decided to go by and say hi. And when I first walked in, they were filming. It was kind of quiet. And when I walked in, all of a sudden it stopped. And then Andy said, hold on, everybody. I have something to say. This is Kim Richards. And he put me up on this thing. And he goes, and I want you all to know the reason you're here is because somebody did it right the first time. And I was like, oh my God. And everybody's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God. He said, that's why we're all here today. And then Dwayne came over and he said, I can't thank you enough. Really, like we're here. And I was like, you're the Rock, you're Dwayne. And that was one of the reasons I said, I wasn't even sure who, I didn't know the Rock name. But then that's how Andy also told me. He did the movie with the little girl, the Tooth Fairy, the little girl in the football. And I was like, oh my God, I know who he is. It was just so nice. Like Ike said, everybody was so, oh, I'm like, you're the Rock. I love you. And Andy told me like some, and I fell in love with everybody. And it was a great experience. And funny story, doing that, you know, I was a waitress, you know, carrying the tray. And they said, do you want us to bring the tray in? Or do you want to carry the tray? I was like, oh no, I'm going to carry the tray. And I'm doing this right. So I brought out the tray with the burgers and I brought out the tray after 5 or 6 times. I was like, dude, I have mad respect for anybody that does this. I can't carry that tray again. Bring it on in. I need a busboy. I cannot carry this tray again. I mean, mad respect for anybody that does that. My hands were like, I was like, have your burgers here. Have your burgers here. I mean, mad respect to all people in serving just whatever it's bring food. And by the way, mad respect to everybody right now out there that's, you know, Amazon, Postmates, doctors, nurses, firefighters, police. I have so much respect to every day. I just want to say that it's been a tough time, and just I have to say, totally grateful. The market, the people that work in the markets, just, you know, not just to mention, you know, the fact that I had to carry a tray. I just want to say that out there to all, how grateful I am and thankful, because without all of you, I don't think we would be able. I'm so grateful and thank you. So
we've had some other great comments. Thanks for that. We've had some other great comments from folks. We won't have time to get all the questions, but Sarah Gold had a great one for us. Also Benny TB 86. We may be able to do this one quickly, and he inspired actually another question that I had. So I'll go with that one. If you get introduced right away at the beginning of the movie to your powers, what power that your character had do you most wish that you had in real life?
Well, I already know. I already know I can see and I can make people. I can talk to people. I know that. I got that. Sometimes I want to fly. You know,
yeah. Making things be able to telekinesis, being able to make things move with your mind that has fascinated me since before I did that film. And so I think that's something that would be pretty handy.
So Benny wanted to know if you guys on set ever pretended that you were using telepathy like you had in the movie.
I can say no. No, for me,
I did it with my kids.
For me, no.
I used to say to my kids.
Apparently, really? Yeah, apparently you do.
I'm telling you right now.
Hey, and if they're buying into it, you're doing a convincing job. It's fantastic.
And were you really playing the harmonica, Ike? Were you really playing that?
Oh my God. Thank you for asking that. No, I was blowing into it, blowing notes.
Good job.
I swear when I got the part, I was such a serious kid that I was concerned because no one had asked me whether or not I could play the harmonica. And I thought I needed to learn. So my mother ended up taking me to a music store and I bought a harmonica. I used a little instructions inside the box and taught myself how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I was terrible. I'm not musical. I have no musical ability. So I was so afraid the first time on set when I was going to have to quote unquote play something. And it turned out all they really wanted me to do was just blow into it and pretend. So that ended up being all I needed to do. So I got over that pretty quickly.
You did a good job. Come on.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But,
I was
yeah,
impressed.
at least it wasn't what I thought I needed to do. Yeah, it wasn't what I thought I needed to do. So
I mean, it
I was
wasn't that
grateful.
you were really blowing and making everything open and close, but you.
Well, Dooley Wilson's not playing the piano in Casablanca. So if Dooley Wilson doesn't have to really play the piano, you're fine with just showing off, doing your harmonica in
that's why they call it that's why they call it movie magic, whether it's real magic or whatever.
Magic. So we're just about out of time, but I did want to give both of you a chance just to kind of do a shout out, something you've got going on, a thanks to the fans or what have you, and remind everyone that go to wizardworldvirtual.com, and that's going to be your opportunity. You know, we covered a lot of ground here, but there's so much more we could have. If you have more questions for these folks, those live one-on-one chats, they are a great memory for folks. Go to Wizard World Virtual for that. Ike and Kim, just last words from you guys.
Yeah, for me, I look forward to talking to you guys one-on-one. I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I just want to say is for my part in all of this, from the autographs or the recordings or the chats, I'm donating a portion of my proceeds to the American Diabetes Association and the CARE Foundation, which is an amazing little, fairly small organization, but they provide service animals to many, many people with handicaps. And they're one of the only ones in the United States that actually provide service animals to children, especially trained to work with children with handicaps. So it's become very dear to my heart. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if you participate in any of this with me, you'll be participating in a couple of good causes as well. And again, I just want to thank you all so much. I mean, the fans, it has always impressed me how the fan base has loved and cared about these films. And they're sharing it. Many of you have shared it with your own children who have now become fans of the films as well. And it's created a real lasting legacy for both Kim and I in a really huge way. And I just want to tell you how grateful I am, because I'm so excited and happy to be a part of it. And before I get too emotional, I'm going to throw it to Kim.
In the spirit of that, we put the goat up for you for now, in the spirit of that donation.
For me, first, I just want to say thank you to all of you. When I say I love my fans, I am going to get emotional because I really love all of you. You've been so inspirational, so supportive of everything in my life. Sorry. And wait a minute here. I love all of you. I know this has been a tough year for people, everyone. And I just want to thank all the people on the front line. I want to thank doctors, nurses, firefighters, policemen, UPS, Amazon, people in the markets, everybody that's out there working hard. I'm in quarantine. I stay in quarantine. So my focus right now is to stay at home. I spend as much time I can with my family. And my thing right now is for all of you to stay safe and healthy. I work energetically. I do a lot of meditation. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I work every day. I'm focusing more on working energetically and growing so I can continue to do my inner work so that I can maybe one day open a place that I can share what I've learned to be in the place I'm at today. So I do a lot of work at home to grow inside so that I can be the healthiest I can be for myself, for my family, for my fans, and for everybody. And I just want to send tons of love and light to all of you, and stay safe and healthy. And I love you all.
That's certainly a great sentiment to end on. And Ike and Kim, it's been 45 years
Can you not say that?
The movie first came out, and still 2, 3, 4 generations later, depending on how you count it, this movie is still enchanting people. It's got a whole new life on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, and you folks, and you haven't watched this movie in a while, crank it up. The remake is on there too. The reboot from 2009 is on there too. Go ahead and just have a little marathon with your kids or just with yourself. It'd be well worth it. It's a movie that has, unlike some others, is really, it carries today just as well as it did 45 years ago. Ike and Kim, want to thank you so much for being part of Wizard World Virtual Experiences today. And to all you watching on our feeds today, we appreciate you being with us. I'm Jerry Milani. Please join us soon again for Wizard World Virtual
Jerry.
Experiences. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Aaron Ashmore, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe like now. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.